Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Exodus 24. The covenant is confirmed. This is good, orderly direction, practical tools of the Bible, and I am your host, Dr. Donnelly Snipes. Before we get started, please remember to like, subscribe, and share to help us reach more people and grow the channel. In Exodus 24, Moses was called by God back up to Mount Sinai. God was going to give him the tablets and tell him, we're going to find about what next steps they needed to take. So Moses told the people he was fixing to go back up the mount, and he wrote the instructions down for them, and they agreed to obey. Moses left Aaron in charge and stayed up on Mount Sinai for 40 days and 40 nights. Now, it's important to recognize that we don't know whether this was literally 40 days and 40 nights or longer or shorter. Probably took a while to climb back up the mountain, and then even more time for him to commune with God, if you will. We will find that this also may have been something of a test. In Exodus chapters 25 through 30, we're given instructions for building the tabernacle, rules for the church, and rules for the consecration of priests. Now, I'm not going to go into depth on each one of those things because it's a lot of, you're supposed to build a building that's this many cubits wide and this many cubits tall, and this is the cloth you're supposed to use. If you're interested in all that, you can go read Exodus 25 through 30. There is a lot of intricate information about how this was created. But in terms of practical rules for living, I really struggled to find a lot in there. Exodus 31, observe the Sabbath because it's holy to you. Oh my gosh, we're hearing this whole observe the seventh day. Anyone who desecrates it is to be put to death. Those who do any work on that day must be cut off from their people. So in the last two videos, I talked about how death may mean being cut off from the people, not necessarily actual death. And it seems to be being sort of highlighted here that people who work on the Sabbath are supposed to be excommunicated. Now, back in those days, we also have to remember, they didn't have electricity. They didn't have 24-hour stuff going on, and they tended to move as a group. Therefore, observing the Sabbath back then, their lives did run, for the most part, on sort of a Monday through Saturday sort of schedule, and everybody took the Sabbath off. And the beauty of that, the benefit of the entire community actually taking the Sabbath off, was that they got to interact with one another. They got to spend time with family and friends. It wasn't something where they could see some of their friends, but others were working. This was a time when the community was able to get together on a weekly basis and bond. They were able to get together on a weekly basis and provide support for one another. So there is a lot of benefit to recognizing a standard day off, if you will. For 6 days, work is to be done, but the seventh day is a day of the Sabbath rest, holy to the Lord. Observation of the Sabbath will be a sign between me and the Israelites forever. For in 6 days, God made the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. How many times have we heard this theme throughout Genesis and Exodus? We need rest. We need time to refresh. It's not being lazy. It's not being indulgent. It is taking care of self so we can take care of others. Like when God left Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden with instructions about not eating from the tree of wisdom and the ability to choose, Moses is now leaving Aaron and the people, and he's given them instructions, yet they have the ability to choose. He's saying, all right, y'all are on your own for a little while. You need to behave. All along, Moses has had the direct connection with God, and Aaron has come along to be his mouthpiece. Moses has sort of been the brains behind the operation in terms of the humans. He's getting his information directly from God, but he said, I'm not a good speaker. Let Aaron come with me because he's a much better communicator. So they're working synergistically, but Moses is really directing things for the people. Moses was also the head judge of the people. So you can think of him sort of like the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court is now going back up Mount Sinai. So there's potentially this tendency to be somewhat fearful because they went from being oppressed to being heavily governed to being kind of on their own, even though it's only for a short period of time. We'll find in the next chapter that just like Adam and Eve did not make the best choices, the people and Aaron also did not make the best choice.